All right, Daniel Kuhn here with Tri-State Football. We're here at the Gold Star in Alexandria doing the Tri-State Football preseason show. I'm here with the Campbell County Camels. Sitting to my right is head coach Brian Weinrich. Coach, talk a little bit about your season last year. Maybe it wasn't the season you guys wanted to have, but a new season is a new season, a new opportunity. What are you expecting out of your group this year?
I mean, it didn't go the way we wanted to as far as the record goes, but we had a lot of guys get a lot of good experience. We fought till the end. We had. I mean, looking back at it, when the season was over, looking at records and RPI things, we had the toughest schedule in Kentucky, and so we never had a break. And when you can't get it rolling and you don't get a break, it made it very difficult at times. But as far as the fight, that was never in question the entire season, from sophomores, juniors, and including the seniors, and then this year's group coming into the off season, took that fire and ran with it. We had a great off season and a great summer so far.
So talk to me a little bit about that. You mentioned a tough schedule. Looking at your guys' schedule this year, it doesn't look like it's getting any easier. How do you navigate that throughout the course of the season? How do you keep the guys in shape, ready for each game?
Well, I mean, when you play football in Northern Kentucky, you don't have a choice but to have a tough schedule. And then you add in some, our district opponent that's not from Northern Kentucky, Great Crossings. They made the state semifinals last year. So it is difficult to navigate, but it's what you sign up for. You come to play high school sports to compete week in and week out against great competitions. I mean, it would be doing them a disservice if we somehow found games that weren't quote unquote great games. Like I wouldn't want to play. Like I want to see what we got against the best that's out there. So we're excited and we're just going to get better each and every day and get ready for it.
So I'll go over here to the players. Sitting directly to my left is Elijah Depperschmidt. You play on the defensive side of the ball primarily. We were just talking a little bit over there earlier. You mentioned that you're switching from linebacker to safety. How's that transition been for you this offseason?
At first it was pretty hard. I'm used to always coming downhill, always taking on blocks. But now I'm more out in space. It was hard to adjust at first, but I think I've gotten rolling now, honestly, and I'm just excited for this year.
Switching positions you talk about, it can be difficult, but I think for you the main thing is like you're switching to a position that's somewhat similar to what you were playing, but you're seeing the whole field now from a defensive perspective. Tell me how you're working through your progressions and how you're getting better about that aspect of your game.
It's just team now. Once we go into team, at first I really didn't know what I was doing being back there, but coach has helped me, and and progressions, I mean, it's gotten a lot easier. I can see the whole field now, which is good, so I can kind of do whatever, go wherever, follow the ball. So, yeah.
And then over to his left is Lucas Anthrop, the quarterback for the Camels. Lucas, talk to me about where you're going, your headspace is going into this season. How do you feel about your game, and how do you think the offense is going to be this year?
I think the offense is going to be a lot better. I think the guys up front, they really locked in over this offseason, and I think they're going to be a lot better. And our receiver core didn't get much worse, and I think I've gotten a little better. I think our offense will be really dangerous this year.
As a quarterback, every season you're looking to improve a part of your game. What part of your game from the quarterback position do you think you've improved the most this offseason going into this year?
I've tried to improve my throwing the most because I ran a lot last year, but I want to make other teams worry about me throwing the ball more instead of just running the ball.
And then Trevor Bertram sitting over here to my far left. He plays running back and linebacker. Playing both ways can be difficult. And, from your perspective, how have you managed your offseason and gotten yourself ready to do that this season?
Yeah, I haven't played both sides since freshman year, but when I did, I loved it. Not leaving the field, but you definitely got to work on cardio. You got to be able to go your all the whole game and not really leave the field, which kind of like you want that, though. I hate leaving the field, so I'm looking forward to it. You just got to stay in shape, though. You got to be able to go out there when you can, and then if you can't, just suck it up, You got to keep going.
So all three of you guys are seniors going into, your last year of high school football. Talk to me a little bit about, what you guys are expecting, what you want to get out of this last year of your experience, and what you want to get out of the season in general.
Oh, definitely just improving each week. I mean, I feel like we can really show some teams that we're a team to compete, win games, definitely is the thing. Last year, 2 wins, not us. We got to come out. Different team this year, definitely.
I'm going to ask you guys the same question. What do you expect to get out of your senior season?
Kind of like he said, I think we're going to be overlooked a lot this year, but I think this offseason we've took so many steps forward that I think we could be a dangerous team this year for sure.
It's going to be a lot of piggybacking off of them, but, yeah, I think we've gotten a lot better this offseason. We've really dialed in, locked in, and I just don't want to lose any games. I'm tired of losing. I don't like it.
So a question I've been asking in these, and I'm going to ask you three as well. You look at your schedule this year. What game? And you look forward to every game. Obviously, you want to win every game. But every of course, there's going to be games on your schedule that there's just a little bit of that extra juice behind it. What game are you guys looking forward to? Pinpointing on your schedule this year.
I'm looking forward to Highlands. Last year, the score did not tell what actually happened. We had a couple fumbles on the goal line. Defense was doing good. We had a pick early on. I'm looking forward to Highlands. I think we can upset them. I'm really excited about that game.
I'm excited for Highlands too, but I kind of like to go game by game. I like to start off with Scott. If we can go hot for Scott, I think we can beat anybody, so I don't really have a rivalry. I just want to win every game.
Highlands for sure. It was a bad game last year on paper, but if you watch the game, we were in it until we started to turn the ball over. I had a fumble going in. Losing a ball against a team like that you grew up playing against, it's just a different level of making you mad. So definitely going after that team. I think we can definitely compete with them. They're big, but I feel like we can definitely compete, and we can give them a run for their money 100%.
Coach, I'm going to come back to you now. We talk a lot about the senior leadership on teams. What makes this senior class special this year?
Well, I got here when they were going to be freshmen, and ever since they were freshmen, they've been a really tight group as senior or as their individual class. But what I really have seen about them is they've been very open to the underclassmen, and it helps. Like Lucas has a younger brother, it's a sophomore, and I think that really has helped bridge the gap. And Elijah's got a younger brother, it's a freshman, and so I said this earlier today to somebody else, like you walk in our locker room, sometimes you can't really tell necessarily, like the seniors are over here, the juniors are over here, the sophomores are over here, and that's a telltale sign, I think, of a good foundation. I was fortunate enough to coach Chad Bowden years ago, who's now the GM for USC Trojans, and he was the master at making sure everybody on the team was together, and I've tried to convey that message every year since. That was the difference in that year with him. We shouldn't have been as good as we were, but Chad really pushed it forward and made sure everybody on the team was doing everything together, and I really see a lot of that out of this year's group, it's all one big group. They compete like crazy on the practice field, and they'll talk trash with each other all day long, but they're all working together, and that's the key.
And then final question for you, Coach. Going into the season, what would you say would be a successful season for the Camels this year?
We want to win. There's nothing else. Like we've put too much into it for too long, and these guys have been together. And we're not. We're in a situation where we're not an all-star team in Northern Kentucky. We're not plucking guys from other teams, and we're a bunch of guys who grew up together out here and want to play football. So we're ready to go. Like you guys can get all your all-star teams you want, but we're a bunch of guys that grew up together, and we're gonna go out there and fight on Fridays, and we're gonna let the scoreboard sort itself out.
Well, that's everything we have for here. Thank you guys for coming out to this interview, Coach. Good luck this season. This is Daniel Kuhn for Tri-State Football here we're not live here at the Tri-State Football preseason show at Gold Star in Alexandria. We'll be right. Yeah.